Guys, this show left me stupefied. I mean, what can you even say about a show of this concept? Maybe I'm getting a little too ahead of myself here. The Red Ape Family is an animated web show that premiered on November 27, 2021, and it's already the worst thing I've ever reviewed. I know I'm only like 3 reviews into my whole career, but I'm already ticking off that benchmark. What's so bad about this show? Let's start with the obvious. It's animated using NFTs. For anyone unfortunate enough to not know, NFTs are fucking terrible. They stand for non-fungible token, and essentially what an NFT is you draw a picture in like GIMP or something, you post it somewhere, say you own it, but others can theoretically own it for a set price, oftentimes in the thousands range, and once you've emptied your savings account on a shitty-ass drawing of a monkey, you get a URL on the blockchain as your proof of purchase. But you still can't have the physical drawing. Don't know why you'd wanna, NFTs are drawn horribly, but this is just a way to con you out of your money. And now for some wretched reason, a few assholes decided these terrible designs are worth making a full-fledged show out of. And let me be clear, even if this show wasn't animated with NFTs, I'd still detest it, because it has nothing redeemable about it. Where to even begin? How about we start with the animation? Because like I said, for such an exclusive product, it's not even worth the animation program it was made with. It is incredibly hard to look at. The character models, at least for the apes, are all rehashed from each other in some way. They don't even try for the titular Red Ape family. They just change a few minor details for each of them. But many of the other apes you see have similar assets on their models. The mouth movements in particular suck pretty hard. I've seen puppets with better lip syncing. The timing isn't off or anything, it's just that they try to make the mouth movements more realistic to how a human's would. But that fails in animation because a drawing isn't autonomous. It only has as much life as you give it. We humans have words and syllables we pronounce with the back of our mouths. But that's not something you can convey well in animation without it looking like the character's mouth was just frozen in place mid-dialogue. On top of being visually unappealing, there are animation errors everywhere! Giant, blatant animation errors! There is a scene where one of the apes tries stepping over a tripwire, but instead just walks right through it. The animators don't know shit about perspective either. Just look at this run cycle. Tell me with a straight face that there is nothing wrong with it. And wouldn't you know it, this thing sounds just as bad as it looks. Let's start with the voice acting, or at least what they're trying to pass off as voice acting. Every character sounds terrible! The protagonist, named Chucky, sounds like Butthead if he smoked 3 packs a day and then did Prozac. I know he's a bored ape, but that doesn't mean you have to make him sound bad. Jason Steele knows how to do this. The voice he uses for Nil in Shadowstone Park is one of disinterest, but it's nice to listen to, and has a can't-be-bothered tone to it that doesn't sound like he just rolled up to the microphone running on half an hour of sleep. The other characters aren't any better. Winky sounds like she's just reciting her lines from memory. Caesar just sounds like Winky but pitched down a couple octaves, and Dr. Noatini has a very annoying fake African accent. Every other character sounds completely phoned in, and the emotions are incredibly forced or incorrect.
We're not monkeys. Do you see a fucking tail on my ass?
Yeah, I'm no expert cinematographer, but facial expressions shouldn't come right at the end of a line. In fact, it's like they forget that arm movements exists. Talking with your hands isn't just some meme about Italians. It's very much something people do when they're in a conversation. When you just leave everything up to the facial expressions, the dialogue just comes across as rigid, and it's even more of a problem when you don't even do it right. But what about the story? What story? This is the first episode, and it barely even wants to be one. The only thing close to a story we get is that Chucky steals a flash drive containing an NFT that's worth more than the city of Paris, and then they fly to Mars as refugees. Does that sound boring? Well, guess what? The episode doesn't even try to make it interesting. The scenes are all mundane with minimal banter, and because the characters themselves aren't even slightly fleshed out, no tension can be formed. The fuck do I care about what happens to the Red Ape family when the most I know about them is their names? I'm being legit here. The first episode of this web show doesn't even let us know what each character is like. We don't even learn their names until midway through. And don't even get me started on the pacing. This episode has negative pacing. Scenes either don't even flow into each other, or shit happens too fast for it to register properly. Or even worse, something random happens without any relevance. I got a perfect example right here.
Well, this is another nice mess you got us into. Who, how, huh? Is there a fucking owl here? Give me that. You won't get away with this, Chucky.
Who the fuck are these two guys? Why are you showing us them as if we've known them for 7 seasons? Why is he playing the harmonica on a pair of binoculars? Outside of that scene where Chucky steals a flash drive also happens too fast. He steals it, gets chased for a bit, beats up one guard despite encountering 2, makes a couple of crappy one-liners, and the other guards just idly let him escape. I know this is a 6-minute episode, but you can still condense scenes without making them slappy and incoherent. To reference Jason Steele again, Charlie the Unicorn 2 is roughly the same length, and everything that happens on screen leads into each other, and you wouldn't even realize it was 6 minutes until someone pointed it out. I mean, just look at this scene right here.
Anyway, this all seems to be in order. Here are your documents, my hairy friend.
It seems like the animators went to lunch, and when they came back, they just drew whatever the hell they came up with on break. Which brings me to the humor of this episode. I can't tell you just how unfunny this show is. It can't even tell knack-knack jokes properly. Just watch the scene of Winky and Chucky.
Honey, would the husband you idolize and adore let you down? Don't answer that.
Do you know what this is? This little lump of gold is actually a device containing the most valuable NFT ever created. I read about it in Vogue.
NF what?
Non-fungible token?
Non-fuckable toucan.
Huh, get it? We're making fun of NFTs despite drawing an entire show in like format.
All you need to know is that it actually is worth more than the entire city of Paris.
Including the awful tower?
Yes, including the Eiffel Tower.
Huh, get it? Chucky is dumb! The rest of the jokes don't even feel like jokes because they're told in the exact same tone of voice as regular dialogue. I'm not expecting Hollywood levels of voice direction, but you also don't have to be Dan Rickles to correctly convey a joke. So how do they decide to end this episode? The family lands on Mars, and we get another obnoxious stereotype, and we're treated to a fucking cliffhanger because these fucknuts thought that would be apropos. And that's where I'm pulling the plug on this review. Episode 2 hasn't been released yet as of me writing this, and you want to know something? I couldn't give a 16th of a fuck, because this show has given me negative 60,000 reasons not to be invested in the continued adventures of these Crimson Simians. Like I said before, this show being animated with NFTs is the least of its problems, because it was made by people who don't know shit about storytelling. I almost want to believe that this was made in jest, but it wouldn't even work as that either since it's not even remotely humorous. I'm rating this show a 1 out of 10, my lowest possible score. It really is, at present, the worst thing I've reviewed so far, and I'm saddened that the team behind this show thought it was worth burning craters into the lithosphere. Whatever, what's done is done, and I need a goddamn 46-hour layover. This is the nihilistic snake slithering out of here.